ABC and CBS News have put themselves in the news by perhaps being more biased than news organizations should be at a time when audiences appear to be leaving the legacy news media. That's impacting ratings, it's impacting revenue for major entertainment companies like Viacom and Disney, but that's not the full disaster. If the election does not go the way companies wish for it to be so, well, those news organizations could be shown the door. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy to have you joining us. We're coming to you from somewhere sunny USA, and we're happy to spend time with you today and honor every single time. We have covered the whistleblower. We have covered the Disney excuses. We have covered the Disney explanations. We've touched on CBS News, folks. Today, we're talking to you about how news organizations have strayed into brand new territory, one in which, should a particular candidate be elected, they might be ejected from the press pool covering the president, and yet those companies do not seem to care. Get ready. This is the kind of story you simply cannot miss. This is out of USA Today. It says, flash sale, $1 for... No, that's not what we're looking at. Threats against free speech. The FCC chair condemns Trump's call for CBS to lose license. FCC chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel said former President Donald Trump's calls for CBS and ABC to have their broadcast licenses revoked amounts to threats against free speech. This by Mike Snyder. Folks, we're not political. We're not trying to be political, but we are trying to cover entertainment. And the chance that ABC and CBS could face a backlash, depending on the outcome of the election, that is worthy of our coverage. It could have a definitive impact on stocks such as Disney. Here's what the current story is, and then we'll read between the lines, give you the tea leaves of what might be going on. The head of the Federal Communications Commission says former President Donald Trump's calls for CBS and other networks to have their licenses revoked are threats against free speech. FCC chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel released the statement Thursday in response to a Trump request that CBS should have its license revoked in a Truth Social post. In the post, Trump accused CBS of a fake news scam over its editing of an interview 60 Minutes did with Vice President Kamala Harris, in which it was her answers were edited for maximum benefit to her. Also Thursday, Trump brought up the 60 Minutes interview during a speech in Detroit, saying it would go down as the single biggest scandal in broadcast history. During a teaser clip for the interview shown October 6th on Face the Nation, when Bill Whitaker asks Harris about the U.S.-Israeli relationship, viewers see a different video response from the vice president than on the subsequent 60 Minutes broadcast. Now, that's minimizing what actually happened because it was all throughout. Trump alleged CBS replaced the answer in order to save her or at least make her look better, and the action amounted into election interference. That's the charge. The Harris and Trump campaigns did not immediately respond to requests for comment about the controversy from USA Today. The Trump campaign called for CBS to release the full interview. That gets in the political. We won't go there. Harris campaigns, they didn't control it. They weren't part of the editing process. We don't know that. We don't know. Who knows? That's outside of our lane, and we like to stay in our lane. However, it's just the latest charge by the former president against major broadcast networks. Last month, Trump said ABC should be punished for what he called the bias of the network's moderators during the September 10th presidential debate. Now, folks, you'll know that we have covered that in great detail here, that there was a whistleblower. That whistleblower, by the way, never came forward with the audio files that were alleged to be on the way. Still time for that to happen, but that did not occur. However, seemingly as a result of the accusations made by the anonymous whistleblower, we did get quite a bit of information out of Disney that did not make them look good, including the moderators declaring that they had prepped the debate repeatedly with multiple sessions preparing to fact check one candidate with the goal of avoiding a CNN-style debate result. Now we've got the CBS situation. Guys and girls, what I'm bringing this all up for, I'm not here to be that political place. I'm not here to drive us into controversy whatsoever. But I am here to say that Disney and CBS, that's Viacom, by the way, that they are playing with fire, I think. And I think that we need to be talking about this from an entertainment and ratings perspective. They're putting themselves in a position that if the election does not go the way that they hope it does, I'm not here to tell you that they should have their licenses revoked. But I am here to tell you that I think when the former president took office in 2016 the first time, he didn't know how government works so well. That would not be true if he's returned in 2025. And so I suspect that Disney and CBS should consider it a real issue that they could have some of the government, what should we say? Some of the government endorsements that come along with being a network revoked from them, or they could be removed from the press pool that gets to cover the White House. They could lose these things that give them credibility, and it could damage their stock. And at this time, perhaps because of cultural blinders and political efforts, they don't seem to take this seriously. And I really think they should. Panel, what do you make of this idea that they are tap dancing on their own coffin if they're not careful?
Two quick thoughts, Pro. First, the FEC should consider that particular interview, because it was highly edited, as a contribution to the campaign, and that could land the network in a bunch of hot water for that particular one.
But that's not going to happen until at least next year, depending on the election.
Certainly. But my point is they've put themselves in such a disadvantage because they're counting on the level of corruption, perhaps, that some people suggest there is, or perhaps they're counting on their pals not to change the rules eventually that are disfavorable to them. They're counting on an awful lot of things to happen, and if they don't go their way, or it gets further revealed that they were complicit in some of these activities, they are putting not just their public licenses at risk, but perhaps even their corporations at risk. Again, the Federal Election Commission takes those illegal contributions very, very seriously. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, that go into the production of and the receipt of advertisements for something like a debate or something like one of these interviews. That's why they run them as exclusives, and they do their level best to gather as much audience as they can. So I think that's a big problem. Anyway, there's that.
Well, I think you're exactly right, and I just don't think that they're taking this seriously, and it makes you wonder what it is they think is going to happen. Because they act as if there is no threat to them or their standing as news organizations, and yet at the same time, we've shown that their ratings are just devastatingly bad, that they have absolutely tanked their legacies with the way that they've covered modern events. They've taken a decidedly biased position, and I just wonder how that's going to be handled going forward, if things don't go their way. Erica, do you watch any of the American news and compare that to what you see internationally? How is the flavor different, you think?
Well, we don't really keep up with the what the Germans are on the international side have to say, but we watch YouTube and we keep up with a lot of the news. We watch Newsmax a lot on YouTube. My thing on this, and I've been saying this for a while, just pillow talk between husband and wife, and I don't understand and also don't agree with news organizations taking any money from any political party.
That's an interesting point.
In my opinion, there needs to be something in place to where it kind of backs these news organizations into a corner to where they are having to be more central, like in the middle when it comes to reporting. But if they're earning that much money and they become this like massive echo chamber for one party, then it's not really news, it's propaganda.
I always find it funny that we have people on the extremes who say that, the Pro Channel is political or partisan. They'll say, Pro and his group, they're crazy conservatives. And I'm like, this is the same channel that one of our mottos, one of our slogans we say often in videos is bringing Hollywood back to the mainstream middle, the sensible center where money is made. And folks say, well, why do you cover the news? Well, it's because the news drives ratings. The news drives those viewers to go then to entertainment shows. The news is owned by giant entertainment corporations. And so we've been covering the impact this can have on entertainment corporations. My goal with the news is the same as when we're talking about theme parks or entertainment. I would like the news to go back to being in the mainstream middle, the sensible center, and where, by the way, where people can believe in what they're hearing. And I think we've largely lost that. And as a result of it, people have fled and went to places like YouTube to find the news. Ron, is that your similar assessment as to where we are today, that people have gone away from the dinosaur legacy media, and that now if the government shifts hard, that the dinosaur legacy media might even be in a worse position in 2025?
I think the biggest problem is that when you see figures like Tulsi Gabbard, for example, leave the Democratic Party, or as she says that the Democratic Party left her, the far left has shifted so far left and has taken some people, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people in the media with them, and therefore to them the sensible center, the mainstream middle, is right. That's what they're calling it. And that is a matter of perspective, I suppose, but you only have a very, very few people over there that have that perspective, that believe everybody in the middle, mainstream America, regular, just, people that want to eat hamburgers, eat hot dogs, have a beer, and watch some TV, that these are far right people. It's just not that way. The reality is, like when I go to the grocery store, I'm walking down the aisle. 99% of the people, I can't tell you what side of the aisle they're on. We just live our lives as Americans and neighbors. And I think most of us, when we go to entertainment, when we go to even the news, like I always think back to Walter Cronkite, a long time ago, but that's when the news was just the news. And entertainment, just stuff that has moral lessons of right versus wrong, and people like to see right prevail. It's not the same way anymore. It seems like even when you go to the parks, there's things that the messaging of a side that has a very minority type of viewpoint, but they want to try to make it mainstream. They want to try to make it majority. They want to try to normalize what's not normal. It's just so pervasive out there. And it's that feeling that you get when somebody is desperate and trying too hard. Like, it's like if you were you were an employer conducting a job interview, and you could see that person on the other side trying so hard and so desperately to make themselves into something that they're not, that you're not going to hire them. I think that's the feeling that most people are getting when they turn on the news. I don't hardly watch any news shows anymore, because it doesn't matter where they're coming from. They're so bent on a certain ideology that I just feel like I can't get the facts and the stories and the realities. And I just don't know who out there does that.
Well, we're trying to do it here, Ron, although we're covering entertainment news, but we try to do a darn good job of providing it in the best way possible. People will say, well, you're negative about Disney. And our response to that is, well, they lost 60% of their company value in the last 3 years. So what do you want us to do? That's plenty enough to have more negative stories than positive. But I would also say, and this goes back to something that Mark Kern talks about, and we've had him on the show before. Of course, he's the guy who's largely responsible for World of Warcraft, but he's repeatedly said that, the world needs the watering holes, the neutral ground, the place where prey and predator come together and can stop fighting, and where red and blue don't have to be at each other's throats. And that used to be sports, that used to be movies, that used to be TV shows. And unfortunately, politics metastasized such that it went into all of those areas that we need to have common ground in. And then it also took over the news to such a degree that everything's been bifurcated. Apparently, the companies don't care if they sink their last remaining legacy shows and news, and we hate to see those go. We would like to have some places where everybody, Republicans, Democrats, tune in, but apparently that's not what we will have for the future. All right, folks, it's Lou. He's here for me. He's here for you. And Lou, I wanted to go back and grab this topic while you're here, because we were talking earlier about this condemnation from one side of the political aisle regarding ABC and CBS News, and the FCC is out there defending. But we talked about, Lou, and I want to get your thought on it, the idea that ABC and CBS are not taking seriously the hurdles they may face if the election goes a different way than they want. So you would think that Disney would be playing it nice with everybody. Doesn't appear to be the case. What do you think, Lou, in terms of the news organizations and the position they're putting themselves in with their definitively biased coverage this season?
I think that nice people like us who believe in these values of fairness and professionalism are obsolete to these people. I think we tend to give to them a lot more intentional malice than they think they've got. I don't think they know any better. I think they are the kind of people who are told, these are the rules, you must follow them, and just laugh and say, since when? The way to win is to go around the rules. We're all playing the Kobayashi Maru, and you guys are stuck in the past. And that's the problem. Right. Honest to God, these people have such arrogance and such disdain for simple values of this is what it says, so you do this and not that. They just think that's hilariously out of date and hilariously out of touch. They really do.
And
they really do.
As a result, they're out of date and out of touch and quickly becoming the dinosaurs of the industry. The Hollyweirds don't understand how it is we do what we do, bringing you video after video every single day of the utmost highest excellence and quality. But folks, we do it because of you. We appreciate you. You are seen and heard here on the Pro Channel. Make your voices heard, folks, by doing one last thing before we say goodbye for a short time. Consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you know what? That notification bell, click it and stick it to the algorithms. Also, drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And don't forget, folks, we've got even more content on the way. If you'd like to become a member, it's just the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of exclusive content beyond what the public sees, including archival footage of the Pro Show that goes away after just a few days from its public release. Folks, we hope we get the honor of spending time with you again soon, and until then, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.